Hi everyone, this is Wing, aka the Tarot Mechanic, and I am back with another deck review. Today's deck is the Journey Tarot by Teagan Michael Turner. It was funded through a Kickstarter campaign in 2023, and I received my copy earlier last month. The moment I saw this deck, I was captivated by its dreamy images. When I posted a few pictures on Instagram, someone commented that it looked like a cozy deck, and I think that description is just bang on. Flipping through this deck for the first time, I felt like I was inside the imaginary cottage hidden in the depths of this magical forest that I had daydreamed about when I was a child. There is this sense of adventure and wonder mixed with nostalgic familiarity. In terms of style, I would say that this is a very creative visual deck. Many visual decks replicate the Rider-Waite-Smith imageries for some or most of its cards. The Journey Tarot reimagines much of its cards. As you can see in the images shown here, these pictures are not based on the RWS deck at all. And even cards that clearly follow the RWS schema has its own personality. The artist's vivid imagination is reflected in the wide range of subjects and emotions captured. Some cards are descriptive with details, others are simple and profound. Weaving through all these images is the constant feeling like a part of my childhood is being reawakened. I think that emotion is, in part, triggered by the fact that the artwork reminds me of illustrations in children's storybooks. While I like every card in this deck, I especially appreciate the knights. I think all four are incredibly descriptive and evoke very strong gut responses. But if I can claim just one card as my favorite, it'll definitely be the Knight of Water. I see this image as Mother Earth and Father Sky both taking on personified forms in order to come together in an embrace. It's one of the most romantic tarot cards I've ever seen, more so than most Lovers and Two of Cups that I can think of off the top of my head. Let me begin by saying right off the bat that the quality of this deck is first class. It is perfectly executed. I'm going to start with the box. It is a one-piece magnetic box with a single continuous image across all panels. My favorite part of this is that the inside cover shows the same image of a girl lying peacefully on the water, but except that it's from a different perspective of being underwater. The only writing on the entire thing are the decks and the artist's name. I think that's just super classy. The guide is a glossy booklet that dedicates 2 full pages to each card, regardless of whether it's a major or minor arcana. The left page is a full color reprint of the card itself, while the right page offers simple yet insightful descriptions. I am very impressed by how Teagan is able to pack in so much informative and entertaining reading material in such little space, but more on card meanings later. Right now, I want to continue to focus on deck quality, and in particular, the cards themselves. The card backs have a velvety rose petal feel to it. For comparison, the most well-known deck I'm aware of that has this finish is the True Black Tarot. And for those who have never handled a deck with this finish before, it is very luxurious. I love touching this deck the way babies love the feel of their blankets. But the goodness doesn't stop there. The card fronts of this deck have a finish that is different from the back. It's a linen finish, which does have a texture, but you can't really feel it. You can, however, see the crisscross linings of the cards. Again, for comparison, the most popular deck I'm familiar with that has this finish is the Game of Thrones deck. I mentioned earlier how I am impressed with the amount of information the little guidebook manages to offer. On the cards themselves, even though some cards have been renamed, for the most part, the major arcana feels very similar to a typical deck. The guidebook, however, greatly enhances their potential by offering its own system of organization. In addition to a traditional name, the guidebook also presents a subtitle for each card that sounds like an episode of Friends, as they all start with The One. For example, in card 0, we have the conventional naming of the Fool and the subtitle as The One Who Chooses. This choice initiates us into the Fool's journey. From here on, the path is subdivided into 3 groups of 7, with the first 7 cards belonging to the mind, the next 7 belonging to the body, and the last set of cards belonging to spirit. Each group contains 7 functions, and the first function is that of the matrix. So card 1, the magician, is the matrix of the mind. Card 8, the equilibrium, is the matrix of the body. Card 15, the pans, is the matrix of the spirit. The definition of a matrix is an environment or material in which something develops, and all these cards represent the foundation in which the three aspects of the self grows. The magician creates through thoughts and beliefs. Equilibrium is the state in which we all begin this life, and it is through our actions that we tip the scales. The pans represent the fears and vices we must overcome to reach our spirit's full potential. The second function of each group is that of the potentiators. Here we have the priestess, the sage, and the tower. Together, they represent the process of enlightenment. We begin with the mind gathering information. We mature as our physical experiences allow us to evaluate the information we've gathered and churn them into wisdom. Finally, we edge closer and closer towards enlightenment through revelations. The third card of each group is the function of catalyst. This is the process of the impossible becoming the possible, of the abstract transforming into the concrete. We begin with the Empress, who gives birth to the reality dreamed of in the magician and the priestess. Next, we have the Fortune, which is the true awareness that we are in control of our destinies. Last but not least is the Star that gives us strength to pursue our dreams, the ultimate ingredient required to turn the impossible into the possible. After the catalyst comes experience, represented by the Emperor, the Passion, and the Moon. It is through experience that we learn how to control ourselves. The Emperor is the decision maker. Passion is the conquering of our banal and animal lust, and the Moon is the illusion we must see past to discover the truth. The fifth role is that of the significator. In tarot, a significator is the card chosen to represent us. In the Journey Tarot, these are the cards that reflect our process towards self-actualization. We all begin our journeys like the Hierophant by following rules, norms, and culture. Eventually, we reach the stage of the hanging man who halts to reevaluate what we've learned. Finally, through diligence and dedication, we can reach the heights of the sun. Here, instead of following and imitating, we can emanate our own essences and truths. The next function is that of transformation. This process happens through union. In the lovers, we unite with one another. In death, we are reunited with the unreality from which our minds were born. Finally, in the liberation, our consciousness is united with the cosmic consciousness, or the realization that one is all and all is one. In the end, our path leads us to the Great Way. In card 7, also named the Great Way, the mind truly comprehends the concept of the big picture and gives us direction. The alchemist offers us experience and shows us how to amalgamate all aspects of ourselves. Lastly, the universe is the realization and actualization of our destinies. While the Minor Arcana and the Journey Tarot looks more like a Rider-Waite-Smith derivative, the information provided in the guidebook reveals that it's more of an altered Thoth deck. Just like Thoth, each card explanation contains planetary associations as well as a keyword that summarizes its main concept. Some of these keywords are the same as the ones found in the Thoth deck. For example, the Six of Wands is victory in both decks. In other cards, however, the keywords vary. An example is the Ten of Wands. Thoth called this experience oppression, while Journey describes it as encumbered. Ultimately, there is a similarity in that both decks speaks of distractions that prevent us from reaching or enjoying success. Another example of an altered meaning is found in the Two of Wands. Whereas Thoth called this card Dominion, Journey has renamed it to Agency. I personally really like this renaming as it offers the same sense of control, but without the connotation that it comes at the expense of others. Aside from the keywords, another aspect of the Minor Arcana card descriptions worth noting is that each card is explained through rhyming poems that kind of reminds me of Dr. Seuss. Here is one from the Five of Air. Do not let defeat bring you low. With discipline, you have the ability to grow. You'll come out stronger and more complete, with true victory as your ultimate feat. Apologies can get tricky. Emotions can get sticky. But in the end, you'll know you only reap what you sow. My verdict is that I really like this deck. As I mentioned before, I love the quality and the artwork. But the thing that stands out most to me is probably the very thing that may turn some people away from it, which is that I don't think it's a beginner's deck. The guidebook's main focus regarding the major arcana is to associate them to a correspondence system that is unique to this deck, and the minor arcana is explained through poems that can be quite cryptic at times. These days, I enjoy a guidebook that reveals the creator's thought on each card more than books that focus on traditional meanings. As I feel that the guidebook does just that, I found it to be an incredibly informative and entertaining read. If I had little to no experience in tarot, however, I might have found this guidebook frustratingly elusive. Overall, I think this deck is great for those who enjoys non-traditional visual decks, meaning decks that either partially or completely deviate from Rider-Waite-Smith imageries. To see more images from this deck than what I've already shown here, please see my other video for a full deck flip through. I will link it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw and want to pick up a copy of this beautiful deck for yourself, you can find a link in the description below. So, what did you think of the Journey Tarot? Leave a comment with your thoughts. If you found this video informative or entertaining, please give it a big thumbs up and strongly consider subscribing to my channel for more tarot related content. Thank you very much for watching and have a great rest of your day.